Hey, how are you today? This is Crumble from Emotionless Crypto Trading, and we will be talking about Ethereum compared to Tether USD 2 hour candlesticks on Poloniex Exchanger. TradingView.com is the website where I'm checking the market analysis and I am running it. Therefore, we will be doing market analysis for the Ethereum today as usually. Now, before we get started, I wanted to show you the current market cap. Let me just do a quick refresh on it. $134 billion right there in the total market cap, and that's crazy, guys. So let me just show you exactly what happened in the last period of time. We're having the all-time high was around 116 billion, and this was the previous all-time high, right? 116 billion. Then we were having a retreat down to 63 billion, right? And that was in July 16. Now from 63 billion up to 134 in less than 1 month, because today it's August 12th, then that represents pretty much more than double in less than 30 days for the total market cap of the entire crypto space, which represents an insane growth, especially, guys, for Bitcoin. Now that doesn't mean the other cryptos have not increased. We're having new ones coming in. We're having some of them exploding, and the space pretty much represents a bullish reaction as long as it's supported heavily from the Asia market. Let me just show you pretty quickly who is dominating the Ethereum market. I'll show you that quickly because this is very, very interesting. We'll be looking at the markets right here on coinmarketcap.com. And we're seeing exactly which are basically, where's the US dollar? The US dollar is down here. The first US dollar basically in volume is down here. It's GDAX, rank number 6 with $53 million volume in the last 24 hours. Therefore, we've got Korea, China, Korea, we've got Ethereum, Bitcoin, there's no fiat money. Then we've got Korea once again, and then we've got the US dollar. That also again China. But for example, first four pairing with Ethereum and fiat money are coming from Asia. We've got Korea, China, Korea, and then rank number 5 is USD, guys. So the Ethereum market is pretty much driven by the Asia market, as it looks like, looking at the volume in the last 24 hours. And this happens weeks ago, probably months away, especially with Korea. Since they joined, things have exploded, and I do see how Ethereum has the possibility to break out of the upcoming resistance levels as long as the Asia market is supporting us heavily. Great, so let's take a look at the current situation. The price is $3.15, and we are testing again the $316 level. Do you remember in my last video presentation I was talking about the 264 resistance level, which is this one right here. 264 resistance level goes like that, and I was telling you, if we break out of that, which is something that the market represents feasible, then we're continuing forward till the next resistance line, which was 316, and it is still 316, guys. Right here it has been established. It goes like that, and we were confirming on it for once, right? So my previous market analysis confirmed, and that's really not because of my prediction, because I don't do predictions here on YouTube. It's just because that's the way I read the market analysis, which I'm sharing with you, right? So definitely that's something good to know, as long as these videos are not predictions at all. It's just me reading the market for you guys and sharing the language of it, right? So that's something good to know. Good, so we're testing it again. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and show you. We're testing it again right there, and exactly that's where we are right now. 314, our resistance 316. What happens if we break out of that? We're going to continue, and we're going to have a nice movement up to the next resistance line, basically, which is located around 365. All right, so that's where the next resistance line it's located, which actually represents a resistance zone right here. So between these two lines, we have a resistance zone, which needs to be considered as 265 between 377. Once we break out of that, probably we will have the ability to break out also of the all-time high, which represents right here 407, right? We'll have the ability as well to go like that as long as we break out of this extremely powerful resistance line without seeing a major crash in the market. Now you have to be patient, guys, because there's a lot of time for these cryptocurrencies to explode in the future. If it doesn't happen right now, it will happen in the near future. We're talking about 2018 and 19. Whatever happens, you shouldn't be afraid of your coins, of your investments, as long as you have bought at great prices. Now, even if you bought at $400 and you didn't sold, you bought it very close to the all-time high, I'm not really suggesting you right now to sell out unless you know what to do, when to buy, when to sell. As long as you're not a trader, that's very hard to do. So if you're an active trader, day trader, and stuff like that, then probably you know how to handle a situation like that. Now, if you guys have no experience reading market analysis and doing this stuff, then obviously for you, selling out, buying back, selling out, buying back, it's very, very risky, and that's how people lose money, because you get to be controlled by your emotions, especially if you're not experienced and prepared to act like a professional trader. So therefore, for those of you which are not like that, I'm not suggesting you to buy in, sell out, buy in, sell out. Just hold for a longer period of time, because this way you actually protect yourself instead of being attacked by the emotions, which usually come in a lot of the times, and they can very easily make you lose money, right? So you eliminate that risk and you go in a way more safer way, obviously, by accepting not to make as much money as you can. Because if you would trade, you would make more money. Like if you would sell in the highs and buy in the lows, you would make more. But in order to do that, you need to be a professional trader, in my opinion. And therefore, if you're not like that, it's very, very risky for you to do it, right? So what happens here, there's another thing that needs to be considered, is we've got the support trending line, which starts from here and it goes up like that. Now, something that I like is we're not even close anymore to the support trending line, which represents more and more buying power, especially on this side when we had a parabolic movement, which represented with a small decrease in price. That's fine. That's what usually is. A little bounce back from the market. But then again, we have confirmed around this level. We see those shadows right there, which represent rejection of the price. A lot of support. We're fighting over the resistance and we were able to grow back again. And testing again, guys, the 316, which is very important level, right? So we're waiting for a breakout. There's no signal of a crash unless whales or a group of people which still represent whales will orchestrate something like that, which is definitely possible. Do not believe as this one is decentralized, the price cannot be manipulated. Do not believe like that. Do not buy into that story, which is not true at all. The prices of the entire space can be manipulated as long as the stock market, which is thousands of times bigger, can be also manipulated, right? So that's very clear. That's something you have to be aware of whenever there is a whale selling out. All the market analysis that we're doing is useless as long as the whales are selling out at price points which are not represented in the market analysis and shown by the language of it, right? So that's something that we can't see, therefore you have to expect the unexpected, and that's what I'm sharing with you guys here. Expect if there is a group of people, large whales selling out, any cryptocurrency at any price point can very easily crash, because what they do is they trigger that fear to people, and you know what they do is they just start selling more and more, and then the snowball effect starts and goes down the way, exactly like happened at last time. Right here in the top, we were right there representing huge resistance, and then the snowball effect pretty much came down to 256 from $407, $408, guys, down to 256, which is quite a lot, right? So those kind of movements are created by the whales, orchestrated by them, triggered by them, and then the small fishes are buying into by selling the cryptos. Therefore the market crash is going to be, and it is established, right? So that's something that you can't see in a market analysis, because that's something what they do. Now we obviously know the resistance and support points within this market analysis, which is pretty simple. I'm making it this way without advanced stuff because I want every single person out there to understand it on YouTube, right? So that's something for you to consider. Right now, what we're expecting is a breakout. We're expecting this one, not because I'm saying it, we're expecting by the way the support looks like and the buying power. We're expecting a breakout of 316 going higher, and we're having movements within this zone right here. So we're going to have movements within this zone, guys, which represent 316 up to 365, 377, where is our next major resistance zone, which is basically very close to our all-time high, right? So within this zone right here, we've got 3 resistance lines, but 2 of them create a zone, 365 plus 367, pretty much this resistance lines create a zone, and then we have the 407 resistance. So there's quite a lot, for sure. There's quite a lot. Now what we need is, we need the 316 to become our next support, right? So previous resistance becomes our next support. That's something we really need, and that's what's going to happen as long as we're going to break out, move a little bit higher, confirm on the breakout, and then simply just bounce a little bit within that zone and approach the resistance zone between 365 and 377 if no else will trigger anything. If they do that, then the market analysis is not useful. Like I told you, that's something that you cannot expect. Point. Good. So we break out of that, we're going forward to 407, but I do believe right now we're trading, and a lot of people buy into, because they see the example of Bitcoin, which is running on all-time high. Let me show you quickly what's the value of Bitcoin. 3,895, very close to 3,900, approaching $4,000 pretty quickly, as it seems like. And fans of Ethereum, people of Ethereum, believe that we're able to break out the all-time high as well, right? That's what we want, and that's what everyone wants. I'm sure about that. Therefore, a lot of people are buying into this fear of missing out of the new all-time high of the Ethereum. Looking at the Bitcoin, that's something we have to consider. Right now the market is traded on the FOMO, which is fear of missing out, which is very bad, guys. I would prefer probably a slower growth but more stable, without too much FOMO from the regular traders, from the regular people, right? Because that's something that affects any single crypto, which represents a FOMO stage. That's something I hate, and for sure that's something you should consider as well. When the majority of the traders are joining because of that, that's definitely something to consider as negative to your market analysis. But that's the truth, guys. FOMO of not missing the new all-time high, because they see the example of Bitcoin. Now I would be curious to see, what if Bitcoin has a crash, where that money is gonna fly into. If Ethereum is not gonna have the same pattern, as in literally had over the last few weeks, the same pattern. Ethereum was growing in a way slower speed, and the markets were not going on the same path. Therefore, money could pour out of Bitcoin into Ethereum, and then if that happens, we could very easily break out of the all-time high and approach 500 bucks very easily. If there is a crash in Bitcoin and the funds are approaching Ethereum, aiming for the all-time high, as long as if at that similar time when Bitcoin is going to have the crash, Ethereum is not going to have, that's a great confirmation for the market to buy and put their money into Ethereum. And that's something that I would definitely love to see. Now again, this is not prediction, this is market analysis. That's pretty much all about. I'm gonna do some more videos, guys, especially on the Ethereum and Bitcoin, because I know a lot of you are involved there, and I would definitely love to share with you useful information that should help you in the future, right? So remember these things. whales can anytime trigger a decrease and a crash of the market. Considering that people are trading on the FOMO, that's definitely something bad to introduce and have it active at our stage, right? So that's a very important side of the conclusion as well. 316 needs to become our next support from previous resistance. That's how the structure works in an uptrend. Previous support becomes our next resistance, and that's something great, right? So we will have the power to bounce between 316 and 365, 377, then prepare for a breakout as well if the market still represents bullish at that time. When it comes down to an analysis that you have to watch closely, especially at these times, it's very useful to look at the 1 hours, 2 hours, and 30 minutes candlesticks, right? So you guys want to also use advanced market analysis, which is not this one that I'm representing here. It's something that I'm teaching to my students. Then obviously that's something that you want to do in order to make a decision. This is not really advanced at all, right? So that's something that we have to consider, guys, for our current situation. And I would love to hear your ideas in the comments area, in the comment zone. If I'm not responding to you, because I've seen people saying that I didn't respond to their questions or so. Now you have to be aware that I'm doing my best, and I have a lot of private students and stuff like that which I need to take care of, right? And it's something very difficult me to allocate time for YouTube comments, as long as there are hundreds which I need to respond, and it's very difficult, guys. So I'll do my best to respond in videos as much as I can and help you in the comments area as much as I can. I'm definitely sorry if I can't respond to each of you, right? So that's something that I'm not able to do for sure to everyone 100%, right? So hopefully you understand that. Well, I'm trying to put more and more videos out over the next days and weeks, because I know you guys will love to see some more market analysis on different coins as well, right? So that's kind of all about. If you enjoyed this video presentation, which is longer than usually, and if you find that boring, I'm sorry for that. I just didn't want it to repeat myself or stuff, but I do want to make you to understand that what is the language of the market right now and how it works, right? So feel free to subscribe, hit the like, dislike button, exactly what you believe. Your word basically and opinion is free, and I would love to see your feedback. Therefore, if you would like to become my student to my one-on-one coaching program which I'm running, become a professional trader right there, feel free to check the first link in the description area, guys. So that's kind of all about for today. Let's build up a nice community. Like always I said, let's bring up all the crypto space, not only for the Ethereum. Let's promote all these cryptos and let's make a nice story out of it, because 2017 and 18 is the golden years, in my opinion, for all these cryptos, for people who enter, buy in and hold, right? Especially for the ones which are trading, they can make a lot more. Day trading and swing trading can bring you a lot of money, guys. So that's pretty much all about for today. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it wasn't too long, and I'm seeing you next time.